Hey house hunters, today we're going to talk about house hacking. So house hacking is when you buy a home and it makes money for you because you rent it out. A lot of times people think about house hacking and they think about, buying that multifamily property and renting out other units while living in one of them. However, if you aren't ready to buy a multifamily investment property, you can still house hack by getting yourself a little single family home where you can rent out the rooms. And this is exactly what I did after I got divorced. I bought a little 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom place and I house hacked it for a couple of years, had roommates until I ended up turning that into a long-term rental. So if I were going to be house hacking today, here's exactly what I would do. Number one, you want to go for the old Chip and Joanna motto of finding the worst house in the best neighborhood. So that's exactly what I did when I bought a house in Berkeley across from the park. This neighborhood's near Tennyson Street. A lot of houses in the block were already going like in the mid 700s at the time, and I got my place for the mid 3s. So it was a shitty house though. It was when I say it was ugly, it was ugly. It was builder grade, manufactured home, hideous. But it had some good bones, right? Like it had granite countertops already. It had a great layout. It had a front door and a back door and a fenced in yard. And it had 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. It had an ensuite bath that would be for me. And then it had the extra bath that I would rent out with the room. That brings me to another point, which is like bathrooms. Bathrooms always bathrooms. Your renters are going to pay more if they can get their own, and you're going to have a better experience if you don't have to share. I actually brought in $1,500 a month for a single room with the bath, and that was great for me. It almost covered my mortgage completely, and my roommates were always super happy too. So number one, worst house, best neighborhood. Number two, bathrooms. So number 3, no HOA. So I actually didn't buy a single family home. I just bought, it was 1/2 of a duplex and only one side was for sale. But I just knew that this property was in such a good neighborhood and that it was for such a good price that I couldn't let it go. And it didn't have an HOA. So HOAs are just a pain in the ass and they're always going to go up. So that's just money that you're kind of like throwing down the drain, especially when you're trying to cash flow or at least offset your mortgage. Number 4, you want to decide how are you going to rent it. So I tried a couple of different things. First, I had a long-term renter, so she had a year lease. Then I decided I was going to do midterm rents, which was like 3 months travel nursing. I'll make another video about using Furnish Finder to host travel nurses for anyone who's interested in that. Those are usually 3-month terms, and then you always have the chance, you usually have the chance to extend. Denver is a high population of travel nurses and they're great people and they need great housing. So I've always found that to be a great option. Number 5, you want to really make sure the layout's going to be working for roommates. So where can you create a little bit of separation? I mentioned how I loved the layout of my house. We had the spare room, which was a little flex space where you didn't have to be in your bedroom, you didn't have to be in the living room, you had another place to go. So look for places like basements or just extra bedrooms, lofts. Put yourself in the house sharing mentality and think about how is this house going to work with multiple people. Lastly, I would work with an investor-friendly agent who can help you find a really good deal. So agents are going to be looking for motivated sellers, wholesalers, estate sales. If you can get an agent that can help you get a good deal, that's all the better. That's more money in your pocket. I hope you like these 5 tips, and there's a lot more where that came from. If you want to hear more about house hacking, drop a comment below. Let me know what topics you want me to cover, and we can go from there. Later, babes.